Revealed. How a stolen iPhone led to an incredible, life-changing journey with a missing puppy. Jamie adjusted her grip on the brand-new iPhone, its sleek surface illuminated by the faint streetlights. A gift from her late father, it felt like a small piece of his love in her hands. As she walked home through her struggling suburban neighborhood, she reflected on the sacrifices she'd made. Balancing school, her part-time job, and caring for her ailing mother took every ounce of strength she had. The world around her felt both vibrant and oppressive, a blend of desperation and resilience that she couldn't shake. Then, in a whirlwind of chaos, it happened. A sudden rush of footsteps echoed behind her. Before she could even process what was happening, a figure lunged from the shadows, snatching the phone from her grasp. Panic gripped her chest, anger flared in her heart, and she felt as if she were losing a part of herself. "Hey, come back!" she shouted, her voice cracking. But the thief simply ran into the dark alley, blending into the night. Jamie stood there, frozen in disbelief, the weight of loss heavy upon her. But she couldn't just let this setback define her. Fueled by rage and a fierce determination, Jamie dashed after him, the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Each step echoed her heartbeat, the dim alley shadows looming larger. Just when she thought she'd lost her resolve, she heard a soft whimper. It was a small frightened puppy tied up near a dumpster, trembling and alone. In that moment, a wave of compassion washed over her. This innocent creature, shivering in the cold, was a mirror image of her own struggles. Jamie knelt, gently unraveling the leash, her heart swelling with renewed purpose. "You're safe now," she whispered, feeling an unexpected bond form. The puppy with its big brown eyes seemed to understand, and Jamie knew she couldn't turn away. She embarked not just on a mission to reclaim her phone, but to protect this vulnerable life. Throughout her journey, she encountered a gruff yet wise Vietnam veteran, who shared stories of his past with kindness woven through his hardened demeanor. "Sometimes, kid, you gotta fight for what's right," he advised between puffs on his cigar. Jamie nodded, inspired, the weight of her burdens momentarily lifted. Then there was Mrs. Thompson, the elderly woman down the street, who shared tales of lost love that resonated deep within Jamie's soul. Through her stories, Jamie felt the incredible weight of connection, realizing how resilience was stitched into the fabric of her community. But she also faced judgment from a group of teenagers who looked down on her because of her circumstances, igniting a fierce fire within her. She wouldn't let their scorn dim her spirit. As days passed, Jamie learned the pup belonged to a struggling family. Recognizing their plight mirrored her own, she set her sights on reuniting them, despite her mother's worries about resources. They needed help. Yet, as the reunion neared, Jamie was faced with a heartbreaking choice. What if helping this family jeopardized her own? Their financial struggles propelled her into a whirlwind of tension and heartache. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The day arrived when the reunion could happen. Jamie stood before the family's door, her heart racing, the puppy tugging at her side. Should she knock, risking it all? Or protect her family first? The questions swirled in her mind, each one heavier than the last. As Jamie lifted her hand to knock, a tightening sensation made her hesitate, the choice looming immeasurably before her. Would she fight for hope in an uncertain world, or play it safe when love needed her most? Jamie's heart thudded in her chest as she hesitated at the door. The puppy whimpered softly beside her, sensing her turmoil. She bit her lip, torn between the undeniable urge to knock and the nagging voice of caution whispering in her mind. Her mother needed her. Their life together hung in a delicate balance. But what if reuniting this puppy with its family was the very thing her heart ached for? "Why do you feel so heavy?" Jamie whispered to the pup, who gazed up at her with wide, trusting eyes. She recalled the warmth of the veteran's stories, Mrs. Thompson's laughter, and the way the world felt just a bit lighter whenever she helped someone. This little creature believed in her, and maybe, just maybe, it was time Jamie believed in herself. With a deep breath, she knocked, the sound echoing louder than she imagined, like a drum roll heralding a great change. Moments stretched like rubber bands, each tick of the clock a reminder of her uncertainty. A woman answered, exhausted but hopeful. Her eyes darted down to the puppy, and Jamie watched as pure joy ignited in her expression. "Fluffy!" she cried, kneeling to scoop the shaking pup into her arms. In that instant, Jamie saw the power of love, the tangible relief melting away sorrow. It fueled her resolve, igniting a warmth that spread through her like sunshine on a cold day. Thank you so much," the woman said, tears glistening on her cheeks. Jamie smiled, but something twinged in her stomach. Over the happiness that bloomed, a shadow of fear loomed. Would she lose everything trying to help others? Would her mother's worries materialize into a painful reality? "This little guy has been through a lot," the woman continued, her voice trembling. "We lost our home, but we never lost hope. Tell me, how did you find him?" As Jamie relayed the story, her voice choked with emotion, she noticed behind the woman's gratitude another figure. A young girl, no more than 10, peeked from behind her mother, eyes wide with wonder and gratitude. The girl stepped forward, slowly reaching out a hand to touch the puppy. He was so scared, the girl whispered, a light shine in her eyes. "I prayed for him every night." That hit Jamie hard. She remembered her own sleepless nights, filled with worry and longing. In that moment it was clear. This puppy had united them all in some way. Yet, once again the heaviness returned. I have to go," she said softly, about to back away from the door. "I just hoped he would be okay." Suddenly, the girl reached out to her. "Wait, can we see you again? You're like a hero." The word hung thick in the air. Hero. Jamie felt unworthy of it. "I'm not," she started to say, but the warmth radiating from the girl's gaze wrapped around her, coaxing her heart out of its shell. "I'm just someone who saw a puppy and couldn't turn away," she added truthfully. But deep down she felt a flicker igniting. A spark that said she might become more than just someone, might become the kind of person who fights for hope, not just for herself but for others. As Jamie turned to leave, she felt a firm hand land on her shoulder and turned to see the mother smiling down at her. "We could use more people like you. I'm glad you knocked." The moment surged, each word igniting a newfound courage within her. Could this be the beginning of something greater? As she walked away, the horizon felt brighter, filled with possibilities. Would Jamie muster the strength to face her fears? Or would doubts keep her tethered to the past? The answers awaited, but only time would reveal what path she'd choose. Jamie stepped away from the door, her heart still racing. The warmth of the woman's gratitude lingered, wrapping around her like a comforting blanket. She glanced back toward the house, where the girl was laughing, puppy in her arms, a sound so full of youthful joy that it echoed in Jamie's memory. Each step she took on the sidewalk felt heavier than the last, laden with emotion. Part of her wanted to turn around, to go back and bask in that happiness, to feel like the hero they believed her to be. But the other part, a quieter, darker hand, pulled her back toward reality. What about her mother? The fear that ravaged her thoughts wouldn't let her forget the looming shadows back home. As she made her way through the neighborhood, the sunlight seemed to dim, and she could feel the weight pressing on her shoulders. What if her mother needed her help the most now? Was it selfish to feel a flicker of joy? Maybe she wasn't cut out for this helping others thing. Not when her own life felt like a chaotic storm. The puppy, sensing her turmoil, nudged up against her leg. She bent down and scratched behind its ears, the soft fur brushing against her fingertips. "You're a brave little guy, aren't you?" she murmured. The puppy looked up at her, a pair of bright eyes sparkling with innocence and hope. Maybe she could do it after all. Maybe they both could help each other. As she continued to walk, her thoughts drifted to the family she'd just met. They were so full of hope, despite everything they'd lost. She felt inspired by their resilience. If they could survive the storm of life's misfortunes, so could she. A smile crept onto her face as she realized it wasn't just about helping others. It was about growing, healing, and perhaps finding her own place in this world. Just then Jamie's phone buzzed in her pocket, tearing her away from her thoughts. It was a message from her mother. "Where are you? I'm worried." Her heart sank. How could she tell her mother the truth? That she was out there helping strangers while neglecting her own family? But the nagging voice that had kept her in check for so long began to crack. She wasn't just a daughter. She was a person with dreams. Maybe, just maybe, she could find a balance. With a deep breath, she replied, "I'm okay, just needed some time. I'll be home soon." Then she turned away from home and headed toward the small park at the end of the block. It was a place she used to visit often as a child. The playground where she played, the trees where she climbed. The echoes of laughter filled her mind, a stark contrast to the heaviness weighing on her spirit. She needed to reclaim that joy. Arriving at the park, she looked around. Children played on swings, their laughter mingling with the soft rustle of leaves. She felt drawn to that energy, as infectious as it felt familiar. At the far edge of the park, she noticed an elderly man feeding pigeons, his face brightened by the simplest act of joy. Jamie approached him, her heart racing again, but this time it wasn't from fear. "Can I help?" she asked, nodding toward the birdseed. He looked up, surprise flickering in his eyes before he smiled. "Of course. These little guys love making new friends." As she knelt beside him, pouring seed in her tiny palm, it started to feel easier. The burdens in her heart slowly began to fade, replaced by something fresh and bright. Maybe helping others didn't have to mean neglecting her family. Maybe together they could figure it all out. Just then, a blur of fur dashed through the grass. A golden retriever sprinted toward them, barking joyfully. It leaped around Jamie, its tail wagging wildly. "Yours?" the man asked, chuckling. "No. I just helped reunite a puppy with its family, but I've been looking for something to do with mine," she replied, the words tumbling out before her. "Life has a funny way of bringing us what we need, huh?" he said, watching the dog roll in the grass. And as Jamie laughed alongside him, she realized that her journey was just beginning. The world was filled with surprises, waiting to show her what it meant to truly belong. Would she embrace this unexpected adventure? Or would she retreat back into shadows she's known for too long? The choices ahead shimmered in the sunlight. Jamie watched the golden retriever tumble and scamper, her laughter bubbling up like a pop of joy. She felt the weight of the last few days lift just a little. The man beside her chuckled, tossing down another handful of birdseed. "It's funny, isn't it?" he said, scanning the playful scene. "A day can start off heavy but end up light just like that." He snapped his fingers and Jamie couldn't help but smile. "Yeah, just like that," she echoed, glancing back at the dog, now rolling playfully in the grass. Moments like this reminded her of better times, of simpler joys. The man turned serious, adjusting his glasses. "I've been coming here for years. It's the little things that keep me going, seeing kids laugh, watching nature flourish." He paused, eyes focused on the small group of children. "What about you? What keeps you grounded?" Her thoughts flickered back to her mother, the worries she carried, and the burden she felt daily. "I'm still figuring that out," she admitted. "I'm trying to find a balance between helping others and being there for family. Sometimes it feels impossible." The man nodded, a sage understanding radiating from him. "You're not alone in that, you know. Everyone juggles something. The key is knowing when to ask for help." When he said that, it resonated deep within Jamie. For so long, she tried to carry everything on her own, believing that seeking help was a weakness. But now, surrounded by laughter and innocence, she began to wonder if allowing herself to lean a little could be a strength. Just as that thought settled, a shrill bark caught her attention. The same golden retriever dashed toward a cluster of children who were pulling at a stray kite caught in a tree. The dog leaped into action, barking enthusiastically, and the kids squealed in delight. "Looks like he's ready to lend a paw," the man said, chuckling again. Jamie's heart warmed. It was beautiful how joy spread like wildfire. And suddenly, she had an idea, the kind that ignited a spark of purpose within her. "I want to do something," she exclaimed, determination coloring her voice. "Maybe I can get more involved in the community, find ways to help families like the one I met earlier, or even organize a local dog park playdate." "That sounds like a great plan," he encouraged. "You've got fire in you, Jamie. Don't let anyone dim that spark." Warmth surged through her at the compliment. She felt emboldened. This was more than just about helping others. It was about finding her place, a community she could be a part of. Suddenly, her phone buzzed in her pocket again, jerking her back into reality. "Oh, my mom," she said, pulling it out. The screen lit up with another message, and her heart sank once more. "Please come home. I need to talk." The man noticed her change in demeanor. Everything okay? Jamie hesitated, staring at the words. I don't know. I think she's worried. I want to help her too. Life is all about balance, right? He said with a grin. You've got this. Don't forget to take it one step at a time. As she glanced back at him, something shifted within her. Maybe this journey wasn't just about helping others, but also about learning to be honest about her own feelings. Feeling fortified, she typed out a quick reply. I'm on my way. Let us talk. Then she looked up, catching the golden retriever as it raced back to her. The kids trailing behind, squealing with laughter, and that moment, Jamie felt alive. Caught between two worlds, the joy she discovered in helping others and the weight of her responsibilities at home. As she strolled back toward the familiar path, an unexpected thought bubbled to the surface. What if this wasn't just about her? What if it could lead to something more? As she reached the park entrance, she looked back one last time. The man waved and she waved back, feeling empowered. What awaited her at home? Would she discover the strength to confront her fears? Or would she find herself pulled into deeper questions she had been avoiding? Uncertainty loomed ahead, and just like the golden retriever racing toward the children, Jamie was ready to chase after whatever was next. Jamie walked briskly down the familiar path back to her house, the thrill of the park slowly fading into a mix of concern and anticipation. Each footstep was laced with a sense of urgency. She brushed her hair from her face as she pulled up her messages again, her heart racing at the thought of what lay ahead. The laughter of children still echoed in her mind, a stark contrast to the tension she felt coiling around her chest. What did her mom want to talk about? Jamie's heart sank at the prospect of yet another heavy conversation, another round of unspoken worries bubbling to the surface. She stopped briefly to catch her breath, willing herself to embrace the strength she'd felt moments ago. As she rounded the corner to her street, everything looked serene. The sun dipped low, casting warm golden hues over the neighborhood. It felt almost unreal, like the calm before a storm. She held on to that image, knowing she might need it. Inside her house, the atmosphere felt charged. Her mother was sitting at the kitchen table, her hands wrapped tightly around a steaming mug. As Jamie stepped further into the room, she sensed the tension lingering in the air like an uninvited guest. Jamie, her mother's voice wavered slightly. Thank you for coming home. I got your message. What's going on? Jamie asked, trying to keep her tone steady. She noticed her mom's face, stressed and drawn, was far too familiar. Her mother hesitated, drawing a deep breath as if gathering courage. It's about your dad. He called me today, she said, her voice trembling slightly. Jamie's stomach churned. He wants to see you. There it was, the culmination of worry and unresolved feelings spilling out between them. The weight of the past hung thick in the air, and Jamie felt a wave of conflicting emotions wash over her. Shouldn't she be excited? The thought of reconnecting with her dad brought both anticipation and dread. Did you say yes? Jamie asked, heart racing. I don't know. He's been gone for so long. I'm worried about how it will go. I don't want you to get hurt. Her mother looked down, the vulnerability in her eyes stopping Jamie in her tracks. I can handle it, Mom, Jamie replied, surprising even herself with the conviction in her tone. It's my choice, and I want to see him. Maybe we could figure things out. Her mother looked up, tears glistening. I just don't want history to repeat itself. They both sat in silence, letting the weight of those words settle. Jamie wanted to reach out to comfort her mom, but part of her felt the fear creeping back in. She was tired of carrying burdens alone. Just then, a frantic bark interrupted their moment, and Jamie's heart stopped. She rushed to the window. Outside in the street was a scruffy little terrier, darting back and forth, looking for direction but clearly lost. Adrenaline surged through her. Mom, look. She pointed. The dog was barking at shadows, confused and alone. Jamie felt an instant connection as she watched the little creature, its face mirroring the uncertainty she felt within. Maybe we can help him, Jamie said, turning to her mother, who looked hesitant. What if he bites? Her mother replied, worry etched on her face. But Jamie was already out the door, heart pounding. Simon, what if he needs us? We can't just leave him. As she approached the pup, it paused, staring up at her with wide, pleading eyes. Jamie knelt down, extending her hand slowly. What happened next was unexpected. A spark of courage ignited within her, intertwining with her purpose. Just like that, in the midst of uncertainty about her father and her family, Jamie discovered a new direction, a reason to act, to step into the unknown. Would this little dog lead her to a reaffirmation of love and hope, or to a deeper understanding of her own past? And as she reached out to this lost soul, she could feel an adventure unfolding just beyond her grasp. The little terrier's eyes were bright with a mixture of fear and hope, and Jamie felt her heart swell as she inched closer, her fingers outstretched. The moment they connected, a soft brush of her hand against the dog's fur seemed to ignite something indescribable. It was as if both of them understood they were in the same boat, lost and searching for something just outside their reach. "Come here, boy," Jamie whispered, her voice soothing. The dog took a tentative step towards her, every movement cautious yet curious. Jamie smiled, feeling a warmth spreading in her chest. It was nice to feel needed, even in this chaotic moment of her life. "Jamie, be careful," her mother called from inside the house, her voice tinged with concern. But Jamie was already smitten. She crouched lower, making herself smaller just like the pup. "It's okay, I won't hurt you. You're safe now." The dog edged closer, sniffing her hand, then leaping back with a yelp when a car zoomed past. Jamie's heart raced as she watched him retreat, but she refused to give up. Gradually she resumed her approach, remembering how her grandmother used to comfort her when she was scared. "Hey there, buddy, why don't we find out where you belong?" she coaxed. Her voice was steady, filled with the kind of reassuring confidence she wished she could exude in front of her mom. As if understanding her words, the pup took another brave step forward, tail wagging hesitantly. Jamie couldn't hold back her delight. "That's it. You're doing great." With a gentle motion, she offered him a treat from her pocket, the remnants of a biscuit she'd saved from earlier. The dog sniffed it, then lunged forward, gobbling it up. A delighted yip escaped his mouth, and Jamie couldn't help but laugh. In that small moment of triumph, the world felt lighter, as if a glimmer of possibility hung in the air. "See, Mom? He just needs a little help." Jamie glanced back at her mother, whose expression had shifted from worry to tentative hopefulness. Maybe this act of kindness could also heal another part of their lives, the fractured bond with her father. But then a bell began to ring in the distance, pulling Jamie's focus back to the little creature before her. The dog's ears perked up, and he looked around, clearly aware of something she wasn't. "What is it, boy?" Before Jamie could figure it out, the dog bolted down the street, racing after the sound. "Wait! Come back!" she shouted, instinctively chasing after him. The adrenaline coursed through her veins. Every unfamiliar turn of the street felt like a new adventure, every passerby looking at them with curiosity. The little dog was fast, darting around the corner, and Jamie pushed herself to run faster, driven by determination and an odd thrill. Jamie rounded the bend and skidded to a stop. There, at the end of the block, stood a woman in her 30s, waving her arms as she called out excitedly, "Rosie, there you are." The dog, now recognized by the name that echoed in the air, halted, tail wagging furiously. Without a moment's hesitation, he dashed back to the woman, leaping into her arms as she scooped him up. Jamie watched, heart racing, as the woman looked down at Rosie, tears of joy glimmering in her eyes. "Thank you," the woman called, her voice bubbling with relief. "I thought I'd lost her forever." In that instant, Jamie felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Even if she hadn't achieved a complete understanding of her family situation, she had made a difference today. Then that lingering unknown about her father popped back into her mind, echoing louder than the earlier noise of the park. Maybe it's time to start our own journey, Jamie thought, feeling a shift deep within her, a new kind of courage that made her heart flutter. And as they exchanged grateful glances, Jamie couldn't shake the feeling that helping Rosie was only the beginning. What did this newfound bravery mean for her and her father? The uncertainty twisted in her stomach, making her realize the next step would require even more strength. Was she ready to confront her past while also embracing her future? As the sun dipped below the horizon, she felt one thing for certain: a moment of truth was coming. As Jamie stood there, catching her breath, a heavy weight settled on her chest. She had found Rosie, but it only led to another question: what about her own lost connections? The woman held Rosie tightly, pausing to wipe her tears, as if she sensed Jamie standing there, grappling with her own emotions. "Are you okay, sweetie?" the woman asked, her voice softening. You really helped bring my baby back to me. Jamie blinked, her cheeks flushing. Yeah, I'm happy for you. Felt so simple yet complicated. She was happy, but also yearning for something in her life to fill those empty spaces. Thank you again, the woman said, beaming. What's your name? Jamie, she replied, a faint smile creeping onto her face. The woman extended a hand, and Jamie shook it, momentarily surprised by the warmth of the connection. I'm Sarah. You have an amazing heart, Jamie, she continued. I know how it feels to worry about losing something or someone you love. Those words pierced straight into Jamie's heart. Sometimes she felt as if she had lost her father, even when he was still physically present. It was a sort of emptiness that lived within every family argument and every silent dinner. I guess I wouldn't want to lose someone like that either, Jamie confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. Exactly, Sarah replied, her eyes sparkling with understanding. And if you ever want to bring some happiness into the world, you should consider volunteering at the shelter. There are so many dogs that need love and people too. Jamie considered this. The thought of bringing joy while helping animals felt exhilarating. I might do that, she managed, suddenly overwhelmed with possibilities. With a gentle squeeze of her hand, Sarah stepped back, looking at her pup nestled securely in her arms. Just remember, Jamie, it's never too late to mend what's broken. In that moment, Jamie felt a surge of gratitude, a warmth radiating in her chest, sticking with her as she stood there watching the pair leave. As the night fell, an idea took root in her mind, one that she couldn't shake. What if she reached out to her father? Could she find a way to mend their divided family too? The fear of rejection brushed against her skin like the cool evening breeze. But just as she had coaxed Rosie from fear to safety, perhaps she could coax her dad back into their lives too. She hurried back home, heart racing not just from the excitement of the idea but also from the hope it ignited within her. For once, she felt that she might have found the courage to face the lingering shadows, and just as the door clicked shut behind her, an unexpected noise from the kitchen caught her attention. Jamie paused, straining to listen. Was that her father's voice? The warmth she had just felt was extinguished, replaced by a rush of uncertainty. This was her moment. Would she step forward and face the truth, or would she retreat, like Rosie at the sound of the car? With a deep breath, Jamie took a step toward the kitchen, the question hovering in her mind. What would she find on the other side of that door? Jamie took another steadying breath and put her hand on the door frame for support. Every sound seemed amplified in that moment, the faint clatter of dishes, the low hum of her father's voice, the warmth of the kitchen wrapping around her like a familiar blanket. But it felt more like an entrapment than a comfort. What if he doesn't want to see me? She thought, an ice-cold shiver racing down her spine with each thought. The weight of uncertainty pressed harder against her chest. Just as she decided to retreat back into her own world of quiet questions, a burst of laughter rang out, light, genuine, and bathed in nostalgia. Was that the sound of him enjoying something again like they used to? The laugh echoed through her mind, and she felt a flicker of bravery ignite within her. She let herself hide for too long, letting the distance between them grow. It was time to close the gap, to confront whatever lay beyond that threshold, whether it be joy, sorrow, or something in between. Slowly, Jamie pushed the door open wider, stepping into the kitchen. The sight that greeted her shocked her. There was her father, standing at the countertop, donned in his old apron, the one she remembered his mother sewing when he was a boy. He was chopping vegetables with a focus she hadn't seen in years, a playlist of old tunes filling the air. Hey, he said, turning around when she stepped in. His expression shifted from surprise to tentative warmth. I didn't hear you come in. Hi, she stumbled, not quite sure how to fill the silence that had stretched between them. Are you hungry? He asked while gesturing toward the pots on the stove. I'm trying out a new recipe. Thought I might surprise your mom. Mom? The word felt heavy on her lips. Is she coming home for dinner? His smile faltered for a moment. I'm not sure. She's working late again. But it's nice to have time with you. Jamie's heart skipped at the last part. Had he really said that? There was an opening, a small crack in the wall that had separated them for so long. I was just at the park, she began hesitantly, and I helped a woman find her lost dog. It made me think about connections, and how easy it is to lose them. Her father paused, his hands stilling as he processed her words. That's good of you, Jamie. Dogs can teach us a lot about loyalty, you know. Silence lingered in the air, a mixture of relief and tension as she looked into his eyes. They were the same color as the ocean she had once loved. What if they could find a way back to the bond they lost? Dad, I want to talk, she said, the words rushing out as if the dam had broken. I don't want things to be like they are anymore. He looked taken aback, and she felt the hope inside her swell. As she prepared to dive deeper into the emotions that had kept them apart, the doorbell rang suddenly, breaking the moment like a fragile bubble. They both turned at the sound, and Jamie felt the dread creep back. Who was it now? Was this yet another interruption that would push their conversation out of reach? She could feel the uncertainty pulsing between them again, but the spark ignited earlier refused to be snuffed out. Dad, wait, she called as he began to head toward the door. He hesitated, glancing back at her. What if it's something important? Jamie asked, fighting to keep her voice steady. He opened the door slowly, revealing a figure standing on the doorstep, holding something wrapped in a soft blanket. The sight shocked Jamie. What could it possibly be? The moment hung heavy in the air, filled with the potential to change everything again. Jamie's heart raced as her father's eyes widened in recognition. The figure in the doorway was a tall woman, her face partially obscured by the blanket in her arms. Her reddish hair framed a warm smile that tugged at something deep inside Jamie. The woman looked familiar, but it took a moment for Jamie to place her. Is that Mrs. Thorne? She breathed. The realization sent a jolt of energy coursing through her. Yes, Jamie, her father said, his voice steady but surprised. I didn't expect to see you here. I'm so sorry to bother you, Mrs. Thorne said, shifting the bundle in her hold. But I found this little guy wandering outside. I thought he might belong to you. She gently unraveled the blanket, revealing a little puppy, its eyes big and bright, looking curiously at them. The puppy yapped, a sound that vibrated with energy and innocence. Jamie's breath hitched. It was a golden retriever just a few weeks old, with fur that glimmered in the kitchen light. How could anyone abandon such a creature? Her father knelt down, reaching out a hand to the puppy. The dog bounded forward, tail wagging excitedly. Jamie saw it in her father's eyes, that same warmth she had first seen when he talked about cooking and old tunes. He's adorable, he said, laughter melting the tension clouding the room. It's a he? Jamie asked, kneeling beside her father. The puppy nuzzled into him, licking his fingers as if they shared a bond forged in that moment. Yes, Mrs. Thorne responded, a soft smile spreading across her face. I couldn't find an owner anywhere. I thought of you because I remember you had that big dog when you were younger, Jamie. I thought maybe you'd want him. I don't know. Jamie started. There was an unfamiliar heat swirling in her chest. She hadn't felt this way in a long time. Are you sure he doesn't belong to anyone? Unfortunately, no. He was just wandering the streets all alone, she replied, concern overshadowing her cheer. We thought maybe he'd found his way back to you. The puppy looked at Jamie with such trust that her heart melted. All the loneliness and uncertainty of the past months felt like they could be washed away by this simple moment. Was this fate trying to reconnect them? As her father gently scratched behind the puppy's ear, Jamie's mind raced. Maybe we should keep him at least until we find his real owner, she said cautiously, glancing up at her father. He looked back, already caught in the puppy's spell. Jamie could almost see the wheels turning in his mind. I think that's a great idea, he said, a hint of eagerness creeping into his tone. Animals can bring a family together in ways we might not expect. The puppy barked as if to agree, oblivious to the heavy past looming just behind them. See? He's made his choice, Mrs. Thorne teased lightly, her eyes sparkling. I think he's found a new home. As Jamie's father stood up, the spark she had felt earlier flickered back to life. She had a puppy and a moment shared with her dad. It was fragile but real. What if they could build something with this? Just then Jamie's phone buzzed in her pocket, a jarring contrast to the moment. She pulled it out and saw her mother's name on the screen. An unexpected chill raced down her spine. What news was waiting for her on the other end? Dad, she began, hesitantly breaking the beautiful atmosphere that surrounded them. What if? But before she could finish, the doorbell rang again, pulling them all back to reality. Jamie caught her father's eye. Something shifted. Were they ready to face whatever else awaited them at the door together? "Let us see who it is," her father murmured, still holding the puppy in his arms, as a sense of trepidation filled the kitchen. What more might this day bring? Jamie felt the weight of anticipation pressing down as her father reached for the door handle once again. They had shared a moment of pure joy, a shared sense of hope with the little golden retriever now nestled against her father's chest. But with each ring of the bell came fresh uncertainty. What if the next visitor was another reminder of their fractured family? "Ready?" Jamie asked, more to herself than to him. He nodded, determination flickering in his eyes. "Let's find out." As the door swung open, Jamie's heart raced. Standing on the porch was a figure from the past, her mother, a deep furrow in her brow, but behind the worry, the unmistakable glimmer of love. "Jamie!" her mother exclaimed, breathless. "I was coming to look for you." "Mom," Jamie breathed, a mix of relief and apprehension flooding through her. But her words faltered as her mother stepped inside. The kitchen felt suddenly small, charged with emotions raised by years of unsaid things. "Who's this?" her mother asked, eyes drifting to the puppy in her dad's arms. This is, well, he doesn't have a name yet," Jamie stammered, her heart racing. "We just found him." Her father's words found a place in the air, bouncing softly like the puppy's joyful barks. "Jamie thinks we might keep him for a bit." "Really?" A smile broke across her mother's face, and for the first time in a while, all the worry seemed to melt away. "That sounds wonderful." As her mother stepped closer, Jamie caught the glimpse of hope in her gaze. The puppy leaped with excitement, sensing the warmth radiating from them. It was as if that little creature understood the gravity of their reunion. "Maybe, just maybe, this is a sign," Jamie whispered, feeling a spark of courage she hadn't realized was deep within her. "Could bring us together." Her father shifted, obviously contemplating. "Animals have a way of softening hearts, don't they?" Jamie took a deep breath, feeling the moment shift. "Mom, I was thinking we could not only take care of the puppy, but we could also figure things out together. I want to reconnect with you both." Tension hung in the air as her parents exchanged glances, searching one another's expressions. Then her mother came forward, kneeling at her father's side. "We both want to reconnect. It's just been hard." "I know," Jamie murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I don't want to keep losing what we have left. This pup showed me that we can help each other." With her heart racing, Jamie reached out and touched the puppy's soft head, her fingers brushing through the warm fur. "Let us name him Hope," she said, instantly believing in what that name meant. A seed of faith carrying the promise of mending, blossoming into something real. A laugh bubbled out of her mother, the sound liberating. "Hope? I love it. He certainly represents a fresh start." Her father's smile widened, the corners of his eyes crinkling in delight. "Hope it is." For a moment, the weight of their past drifted away, replaced by a moment of unity. There was laughter, understanding, and a spark of possibility. As Jamie smiled at her parents, warmth spread through her like sunshine breaking through clouds. Maybe this was the start of everything she had longed for, a family rediscovering love. The little golden retriever framed their moment perfectly, wagging his tail like he was part of something significant. "Let us maybe go for a walk, the three of us, and Hope," her mother suggested, movements filled with hope that mirrored Jamie's heart. "Yeah," Jamie agreed, her spirit soaring. Just a walk, a simple act, had the potential to weave them closer. As they stepped out into the soft evening light, Jamie felt a sense of balance settling within her. This journey wasn't just about lost puppies and fleeting moments. It was about understanding, love, and the strength it took to face the unknown together. In that fleeting yet profound twilight, Jamie had found courage not just to step into the world beyond, but to embrace the life that could be within reach. The fear faded like dusk surrendering to dawn, and she realized they were embarking on more than just a journey to heal. They were building a life filled with hope together. And with that belief, she smiled wider than before, ready for whatever came next. If you enjoyed this incredible story, don't wait another second. You need to subscribe now to our channel for more exclusive content. Leave a like right now to help us feed the algorithm and spread the love. Comment down below with your thoughts on how Jamie's story has touched your heart. And share this video with at least 5 friends who really need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support and connect with something truly beautiful.